Welcome to Bobby Does Recaps. This is Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, Season 1. Right after Godzilla tore through San Francisco in that insane showdown with the Mutos, school teacher Cate Randa was still haunted by the nightmare when her dad, Hiroshi, suddenly vanished in Alaska. He left a whole secret second family in Tokyo, including son Kentaro, plus a stack of files tied to Monarch, this ultra-secret outfit that tracks giant monsters called Titans. Cate touches down in Tokyo, meets her half-brother Kentaro Randa, this brooding young artist who never knew she even existed. Awkward. But together, they crack open Hiroshi's safe to find their grandfather Bill Randa's old Monarch research. They pull in Kentaro's sharp-tongued ex-girlfriend May, a hacker who can crack anything, and the files start spilling secrets about rifts and titans. Meanwhile, a Monarch pencil pusher named Tim gets wind of their digging and alerts the higher-ups. But to understand why any of this matters, we have to rewind to 1959 in Kazakhstan, where young Colonel Lee Shah, hotshot army officer, teams up with brilliant scientist Keiko and adventurer Bill Randa. They chase weird radiation readings to a power plant sitting over a massive hole in the earth. Keiko and Shah rappel down, snag samples from giant insectoid eggs, and everything's going smooth, until the eggs start hatching endoswarmers that drag Keiko into the abyss. Ugh, rough way to go. Over in 2015, the trio tracks down an older Lee Shaw, played by Kurt Russell. If you're wondering why the casting for his younger self is so spot on, it's because the 1950s version is played by Kurt's real-life son, Wyatt Russell. He's living under house arrest in a fancy Japanese facility that Monarch uses to keep him quiet. Shaw spills just enough to convince them he knows where Hiroshi was heading. So they bust out and hop a ferry, then a plane to Alaska with Shaw's old buddy Du-Ho flying them. Flashback to 1952 in the Philippines. Young Shaw escorts Keiko on their first radiation hunt. They meet Bill in the jungle and stumble onto the wrecked USS Lawton, a ship Bill barely survived that disappeared years earlier. While exploring the wreckage, a massive ion dragon, this sleek fire-breathing beast, attacks, but they manage to escape in the nick of time. This marks the beginning of Monarch. In the frozen Alaskan wilds, the group finds Hiroshi's crashed plane and signs he survived. But then Du-Ho and his plane get frozen solid by a Vark, this hulking armored creature that feeds on heat like an anteater from hell. The beast destroys their only ride home, stranding everyone in the snow. Shaw keeps them moving while we flash back to 1954. Bill and Keiko present a Godzilla footprint to the brass, begging for uranium to lure the big guy out for study. But the military deploys a nuke instead. Godzilla surfaces, Keiko tries to stop the blast, Shaw holds her back, and the military thinks they killed Godzilla. After that, Monarch gets a blank check and funding is no longer a problem. The survivors in Alaska rig a massive bonfire to distract the Vark, buying time for a Monarch chopper to swoop in and rescue them. They land at a remote outpost where Tim and field operative Michelle Duvall are waiting. Tensions run high, but the group eventually gets cut loose to track Hiroshi's next move. So the trio heads to San Francisco and heads into the restricted G-Day ruins with Kate's mom, Caroline's help. Kate's PTSD flares hard, but they push through to their dad's office and find maps pointing to Africa. May secretly calls Duvall, offering to flip for a ticket home. Flashback to 1955. Shaw and Keiko share a charged moment at a military ball before Bill yanks them to Japan, where a scientist has developed a Titan luring device. They use it to draw Godzilla out of the ocean, but he throws the device back at them and almost appears to yell at them before vanishing back into the ocean. He would have been one hell of a pitcher. Following the lead from San Francisco, the gang jets to Africa, follows Hiroshi's trail, and finally spots the man himself using a Titan lure. He warns them to run, then bolts himself. Right about now, Tim's team shows up to arrest everyone, but the ground shakes and Godzilla himself erupts from the sand. The big guy had been sleeping down there the whole time. Helicopters crash, chaos erupts, and Shaw plus Duvall reveal they actually want to help Godzilla. Thinking they're crazy, Cate, Kentaro, and May are like, no way, and split off to chase Hiroshi, only for May to admit she let Monarch track them, causing some tension. May gets snatched at the airport by her old bosses at Applied Experimental Technologies. Turns out she used to be Cora Mateo, a hacker who burned the company after discovering they were secretly running cybernetic experiments on animals. So Cate and Kentaro team up with Tim to track her to Tacoma. They stage a fake Titan alert and negotiate her release through Monarch Deputy Director Natalia Vertigo. Meanwhile, Shaw and Duvall seize an Alaskan Monarch base and blow up a rift to the Hollow Earth, trying to seal the surface off from the monster realm below. Some past flashbacks fill in more gaps. Bill learns Keiko is raising little Hiroshi alone and offers to adopt the kid, while Shaw keeps pushing Monarch to embrace the Titans instead of hiding them. The crew races to Kazakhstan, the same power plant from 1959, now sealed up tight. They confront Shaw and Duvall inside the pit, where Shaw explains he wants to help Godzilla maintain balance by closing all the rifts. Explosives are set, but an adult endoswarmer bursts out, and in the mayhem, Cate, May, Shaw, and the Beast all tumble through the collapsing portal into Axis Mundi, this weird realm between our world and the Hollow Earth. Kentaro and Tim get pulled out by Monarch, devastated, thinking the others are dead. Emiko pushes Kentaro to keep fighting, and when Hiroshi finally reappears in Tokyo, father and son have a raw confrontation. Over in the Axis Mundi, the survivors meet an unaged Keiko Mura. She's rigged an old Titan lure to send a distress signal and thinks she's only been there for 57 days. Turns out time moves differently there, and it's been 56 years back home. This prompts Shaw to finally explain his own wild journey. Back in 1962, he led Operation Hourglass into the Hollow Earth. The rift slammed shut, his team wiped out, and he got spat back out in 1982, having barely aged, only to learn Bill died on Skull Island and Monarch is going to lock him away. In the season finale, the Axis Mundi crew finds the old Operation Hourglass launch vehicle. Thinking there's nothing left for her back home, Keiko wants to stay and keep studying, but Cate talks her into coming home. They fire up the machine, but it accidentally summons an ion dragon that was lurking nearby. Godzilla rips through a rift, battles the dragon in an epic throwdown, and hurtles the beast back into the void. Shaw jumps out to fix a dislodged cable, sacrificing himself so the vehicle could launch with everyone else aboard. The survivors rocket back to the surface, emerging on Skull Island 2 years after they first vanished in Kazakhstan. Turns out, Monarch refused to fund any rescue mission for the team trapped in Axis Mundi. So, Tim quit the organization and teamed up with Apex Cybernetics to crack open a new rift and yank everyone home. The team is finally all together, but the celebration is cut short by an earth-shaking, bone-rattling roar booming from the jungle. Yahtzee! King Kong's coming in Season 2. And that's where Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 1 comes to an end. If you like this recap, please hit that like button and subscribe for more recaps.